How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another show of the Knucklehead Chronicle podcast. You can't do me. That's what I do. Okay. All right. So everybody trying to make fun of me because of what I do when Terry's, the guru is up here and I'm down there. I'm running the show today, but y'all got jokes. Okay. So Q should be
No,
on his
no
way back in a
jokes.
little bit. There you go right there. What up, QQ? Y'all like y'all to welcome a panel today. Q, Quinn, Edigga, and the Guru Terry.
What's that?
Ladies and gentlemen, uh, let's start with how was your week? We're gonna go with Terry because Terry like to pick on me every damn time. So Terry, how was your week?
You know what? I'm getting a kick out of you running this show today. Let's say that first. All right. So, but secondly, my week was pretty good, man. I'm gearing up for vacation, you guys, and excited. I haven't been on a vacation in forever. So getting ready with going to see my grandbabies. I haven't seen my grandbabies since 2019. So I'm excited about seeing two grandkids I hadn't even seen yet or have met yet.
Wow.
So
Really?
yeah, yeah. So I get to see two of my grandbabies. So road tripping
Tell,
is what we do around here.
tell
So,
So we going big or going home? And I see that
yeah.
I see my wife already laughing at me over here with the
She
emoji on
laughing.
the page right now. That all right, I see how it is.
Hey, Jen.
All
Hey
right, Q,
Jen.
how's your week, bro?
I think he
You
muted.
you
Is it
you
muted?
on mute? You on mute, my guy? You muted?
Oh, no, he's not.
Hmm. I don't know.
I don't know if he's not muted on my side. He's muted
All right,
somewhere.
can y'all
Are you
hear me now?
muted?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Can, yeah, I can hear me now. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said I'm
Yep.
just there, man. This is my first weekend off, so I'm enjoying work. I mean, not being at work.
That's what's up. Hey, I can't complain about that. I was, I'm off, but I'm still working.
All right.
Uh,
Damn.
so
Off, but still work.
off was
God
still
damn.
working, man. You
God
know how they
dang. That's how
go.
you do it, baby.
What's up, Ewa? How was your week, brother?
Man, I ain't even going. I ain't even going to say nothing. I'm just glad to be with you guys.
Two days up.
I'm just glad to be here on camera. I'm excited. Um, man, for those who have a job, hats off to
I
you.
almost sound like he's gonna say I'm here still, so I won't get.
That's all the fuck I'm gonna say.
I'm
He
over
said
here working
you
two
said
jobs
hats
like
off
it's
to
like
you.
slavery never ended. That's how I feel working
Right.
two jobs.
That's funny.
That's what's up, man. Well, my week went by a little. It was a little crazy for me. I got into a little brawl, a little fist fight. My hand's still swollen, but I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm blessed. Just like Terry, I won't be here next week. I'll be on the beach with the wife, a little honeymoon getaway.
I know that's right.
So
Go get him.
it's well deserved, by the way. But I'm gonna go and treat her to a little getaway. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, and I'm excited to wear my Wu-Tang shirt. Let's
Oh
go.
no.
Tay.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
The slums of
I love Wu-Tang.
Shaolin.
I love Wu-Tang.
I love them, love them. About to put
Yo,
my son in the movie.
Kev, Nas
Yeah.
and Wu Tang are going on tour together.
And if they
Who is-
swing through Texas, I don't care how they can. I'm selling the Jeep. I'm selling everything I own.
He refinancing the house.
I take my money.
Take my money.
So yeah, all right, fellas, that's what's up, man. But we're gonna get into today's
They
topic, man.
tour in
Today's topic.
September.
Oh, that's what's up. That's good to know. So today's topic, is gonna be a little personal for me. And we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking. This is why I do parenting a little different from how I was raised and grown. Today's topic: are we parenting out of love or obligation? And some people need to know the difference as grown-ups. So want to start off by actually getting into my little story, and yes, thank you for that picture because I was going to tell you to pull it up. Being part of being a parent is a privilege, not an obligation. And again, some people need to learn the difference of that. So a little story on mine, and I know everybody's story is a little different as they were raised and brought up. Um, when I was thinking about this, and Terry was asking me, "Hey, do you have a topic?" And I actually did have a topic, but I wanted to change. I changed it up a little bit. because I felt like I needed to get a little bit of my life story out there. And being growing up, I never noticed it until I actually had some flashbacks this past week just thinking about it. And thinking about it this weekend, I mean, this week started sometime maybe on Wednesday, Monday or Tuesday, when Terry was asking, "Hey, you got a topic? You got a topic?" Like I said, I already had two, but I had this one that just popped up, and I wanted to, load it in the chamber for today's show. So, when I was raised a little. We didn't have a lot, but my dad was not being around, and able to mentor me you know, like I do. Again, I do things different as when from when I was raised. So everything I did being raised, I kind of do it the opposite way. Having that being said, I felt like my mom, and I'm sorry, I again, I'm getting a little personal. I'm going to get personal. My mom raised me. I feel like it was more out of obligation more than love. So, and there's been arguments that I've actually had with her. I've had it out with my mom. My mom, this is only truth. This is my truth. And and Q, I don't know if Q's been around me quite some time, and he's met my mom, but out in public it was a little different. Behind closed doors, it just felt like an obligation, and there's things that she would say to make it feel like it was more of an obligation. Um, Now how I parent, and I know Terry, I know I've seen Terry and how he's with his kids. It's more you can see it, It's more like you can feel and you can see how people parent, right? And I haven't seen, of course, Q doesn't have kids, but he's got friends and family. Terry, I mean, E's got kids, and you can tell how we talk about our kids. It's different. And I don't want to blame the era, or can we do that, gentlemen? Can we blame the era that we were raised on?
Kinda.
You can. I mean,
Yeah.
well, blaming doesn't really solve anything. I mean, you can blame the
Doesn't
era.
it
Uh,
doesn't, but does it bring truth to the light? Like, for instance, nowadays, how I raise my kids, I want to know everything about them. I want to learn everything about them. I want them to feel vulnerable to be able to come to me and say, "Hey, this is your this is what's going on, Dad. I need some light. Shine some light on me right now." Back in the day, I don't think we were able to do that. What did Melissa said, I think this happens due to generational trauma. It's something I've been digging. You know what? And I guess that's where this topic came from me, Miss Little. By the way, that's Terry's wife, and she's a very big advocate with her kids. I see it. I can tell. But I think that's where my topic came in today. It's there's a lot of truth to that comes to light when I wanted to say, go over this. But today, the era that we were raised in, we were raised a little bit more hardcore, weren't we, fellas?
Mhm.
You fall down,
Mhm.
you get told,
Get back
"Hey,
up.
get back
Suck
up,
it up
stop
and get
crying."
back up. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so it was a little rough for us. Nowadays, is like I did with my kids, like, "Hey, you all right? You good? You cup of water with that? Something,
Yeah. Yeah.
um." So my first thing I wanted to, I want to get some perspectives on how these gentlemen were raised. Q. I know Gma, helped you with a lot. How was she, the backbone of your life raising you? How rough was she, or how soft was she when you being raised?
So let me just caveat like this out there. Like a lot of people just familiar with my mom.
Hmm.
Like my mom played a role in raising me. My mom was
That part.
there. It's just that my mom, what I'm saying, my grandma
Mm-hmm.
when she worked her job, my mom worked in the evenings. Like when I was
Oh yeah.
getting up, going to getting my brother and sister ready for school, we was all not walking out the door together, and then my mom wouldn't make it home till like 11 o'clock at night. So
Mm,
yeah, my grandma was there. Mom played a huge role, but she had to get it for us. You know what I'm saying? But like
mm-hmm.
the men in my family were just like my uncle just paused it. My uncle be in the living room, his homeboys pause the game and be like, Quinn, come here. I'm like, run up to the front room and get jabbed straight in the chest, knock all the air out. All right, don't you cry now, get up. Go ahead. You straight? All right, go ahead back. You know what I'm saying? That's the generation we were raised in. My mom literally said she didn't, my family members that raised me said they didn't have to worry about me as a child. It wasn't until I was an adult and got sick that they actually had to start worrying about me, because we were actually raised at a where you in kindergarten getting the key to the house. You got to make sure your list of shit that need to be taken care of in the house before she get home.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm just saying. I think we were more independent. We were raised, but we were more independent.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it was more disciplined than there is today.
Right.
There's
Right.
we got
Much more.
disciplined a whole lot, you know,
Right.
much more
So
than what these kids
let's
get
pause on that
disciplined
right quick.
today. But I
Let's
didn't
pause
feel
right
like it
quick
was
because
out of
I like what you
obligation.
just
The
said.
love I got.
Yeah, you got more love than an obligation, type of feeling, So let's pause on that right quick because
Yeah,
you said there was more discipline, right, than there is
yeah.
nowadays. So how do I put this? How I want to ask it, right? Because I don't want it to come off as, you know. So
Before you get your statement
How
out,
will
let
we
me
get?
just
Hold on. So how do we how I'm gonna ask you this. How do we get more discipline, more respect that rather than just go back and raise our kids like we did back in the day? How do we get more? How do we align that? We don't want to be rough with how we were raised back in the day, but we still want, you know, we want
We want
kind of like,
balance.
yeah, we want some
Balance.
balance to that. So how do we get that?
It's good that you asked that question because right now that's what I'm going through. Because my mom was strict. My mom, she put the S in strict. When I say strict, it was like, you know how some kids back in the day just used to go outside? I wasn't that child. I had to sit
Mm,
there and wait for my mother to give me the nod or go head out and play. While other kids was out burning hot summer. The greatest thing back then for a kid for me was to go outside and watch TV. The
mm-hmm,
greatest thing. And the if you couldn't do one of those things, that will hurt your feelings. Like will crush a kid back in my era. Now, to answer your question, it's kind of hard because this new generation now is like some, not all, is that you know you're trying to implement your child upbringing into this new era, and it's just not going to go well.
mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, my mom was strict. Some kids today, half of their parents don't even know where they at when they go outside. They can be in another part of town nowadays. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you tell them go outside, they gone, or they just leave out the door.
Right.
And me back then, when I was little, and I used to talk to my friends, and I used to say, "Yeah, my mother would tell me when to go outside." Man, they joked the hell out of me. They was like, "Damn, you just can't walk out the house." I was like, "Hell no, I can't."
No, you just can't
And
walk
then
out
when
the
my
door.
mom gave me the okay to
Where
go,
you going?
it was straight. Yeah, it was like straighten up your shirt, comb your hair, make sure
Right.
your shoes look. I said, "Mom, I'm gonna get dirty. Shut up. If you don't want to go outside, you can sit your ass down on that couch." You see
Mm.
what I'm saying? Trying to implement that now
Yeah. Can't
is a
pull that
little
now.
hard,
Yeah, it
way
is.
hard.
Yeah.
If I was to look at my son now, who is 20, but when he was freely going outside, like, Dad, I'm going outside, I can't look at him and, straighten up button up his shirt or comb his hair. You,
You can
you
do it
see
to
what I'm
your
saying?
grandkids though.
Yeah. You can do you can do them. Yeah.
So I don't know. From where we was when we was growing up and our parenting to now as parents ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little hard. You see what I'm saying? It's that generational gap. Whereas, you know, even if I tried to do it, it's not going to go well.
Right.
Not going to
Yeah.
go well. And believe me, I have did it, and it has not gone well.
Mm.
Because the one thing I said, and I'm gonna stop and I'm pass it on. The one thing I did say that I will never raise my child or children the way my mother raised me.
Exactly.
I won't
Right.
be that strict with my child or children like my mother did with me. Now, my
Mm-hmm.
father, that was a different story because my father and I saw him, knew who he was, he came around, but my mom was the disciplinarian, not my dad. When my dad
Mm-hmm.
spoke and raised his voice, of course, I listened. I was
Yeah,
shocked because
those
my
big
dad
words.
never beat me. My dad never raised his voice to me, but my mom did. You know, I was
Right.
getting me beat just by my mom. I was fussed out at my mom. My mom slapped me. My
Mm.
mom slapped me. And I thought I was going to go to Child Protective Services and call. I was going to call the peoples on my mom. It was a big event when my mother slapped me over some curtains.
Bruh.
But now you really can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I don't. And for a disclaimer to my mom, because I gotta do this. I don't want my mom to think that I'm putting her out there for negative.
Right,
No,
right,
I love my mama to death. She did everything she could. She worked three
right,
jobs,
right,
sometimes four jobs, to keep me and my brother afloat until he got into college. Because my brother was working as a high school student
right,
as a construction worker, and now he's 3 decades in doing the same thing. Hasn't changed his job at all. He's always owned his own business for the
right.
last 20 years, done his own thing. So, and I don't want my mom to think, because if I had to have the same life all over again, I would.
Mhm,
It's just coming to
mhm,
grips. I just want my mom to know that it comes to I'm at a peace in my life to where I can understand the
mhm,
obligation or love.
mhm.
I would never do that with my kids though.
Right,
The way that I raise
right,
my kids. I don't want them to
right,
think or feel like it was an obligation, like
right.
they're obligated to come to me, or I'm obligated to buy them or do this for them. I want them to know, hey, I want to do this for you. Went school shopping just now. I
So
wanted to. I told my son, you want shoes? All right, I'll buy your shoes. You pick them because I want you to know
let me ask you
I'm not
this:
just your
like,
I'm not just your money tree. I'm your, I'm not just your provider. I'm here for you, period. All
Mhm,
overall.
mhm.
So, but hold on, Q, Terry.
Yeah,
Let me get a little background from you. You a little
I was
quiet over
hoping
there, my guy.
I was hoping I can chime in at some point in the
Give me
show.
some, feedback on, how. Let me hear because I know Mama, Little was, I know she had to put some whipping behind you and straighten you out a few times,
Oh
but
yeah,
how
yeah.
was she raising you? Let me get a little personal feedback from you.
Well, my upbringing was, you know how when E said a little while ago that his daddy was, uh, he no, his mom put the S in strict, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then my mama put the in strict because it was, it was, like E. It wasn't so much she was strict. My dad was the one that was the disciplinarian, and he won. They kept it strict in my house. My upbringing was, with I was a PK. So anybody that out there that's watching know what a PK is. I was a preacher's kid. My father and mother both were pastors,
Mhm,
and
Mm.
so I was in church every other day. You know, twice on Saturday and Sunday.
mhm, mhm,
Ooh.
Um, so there were things that my dad would not allow in our house. Like if it had anything to do with Satan, baby, it ain't gonna come up in there. You feel me?
mm.
Mm.
Now, um, my mother went to this. My mother went to Walmart. Walmart been around for a long time, right? And so she went to Walmart and bought us a vacuum cleaner.
Mm. Damn.
And then the name of the vacuum cleaner was called a Dirt Devil.
Ooh, those are expensive back in the day.
You remember that? You remember when if you ever watched Martin and you remember
Mhm.
he told Gina that one time he said, "I hope you kept the receipt because going back." That was my dad.
Because it had the word devil in it.
He started that. It wasn't Martin. He started
It
that.
was,
I
yeah,
hope you
yeah.
get the receipt. It's going back. And so and my mother bought my brother and I the board game Clue as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was like, that devil ain't getting up in here, and only because it had the two die in there, the dice,
Mhm.
and they were like,
Mhm.
no, no.
Mhm.
And those of you that know me for sure, that's watching this and listening to this, you guys know that I'm a Duke Blue Devil fan.
Mhm.
Oh God! Oh no!
Oh,
So,
you better change teams quick.
bro, I went. Listen, I bought me a. It was a blue Duke Blue Devil. Back then, it was a corduroy zip tied hat in the back. It was ugly, but nonetheless, it was still.
Right.
And it had the D with the devil in the middle of it. Man, I went to
Mhm.
school one day. I came back home to when we used to burn trash out behind our house because it was living in the country. Go to school one day, come back home, trash is on fire. I go outside. Dad, you see my hat? Yeah, I seen it. It's right there. Look at it.
Ah!
And so I was like, man, come on, man. Come on, for real. I paid for that. I was working there. I
That
paid for
was
that.
my
Why
money.
you burning my stuff?
That was my dollar.
But anything that my mom did for me, I never felt it was obligated from her. Now, my stepdad, on the other hand, I felt that everything he did was out of obligation.
What made you feel that though? Let's touch that.
I can't really put my finger on it. It was always like, I heard him say one time to my mom, "That's your son.
Oh.
I'll
Ooh,
do it."
yeah, that'll definitely do it. That'll
You know
do
what
it.
I'm saying? That's your boy, but I'll do it though. Now, my
Right.
brother was his bio son, right? So
Right.
it was no qualms. You know what I'm saying? No issues. But you know, I remember overhearing that
Mm-hmm.
and feeling like, oh dang man, you don't have to, you don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as life went on and I became older and wiser in this game, I made a hell of mistakes. I had I made some bad choices. I did some bad runs. I had a baby at 16, 17 years old. I mean, started being rebellious, all that. But he continued to do things. So as time went on, I felt like
Mhm.
it moved in from obligation
Mhm.
to love. It just took me a couple of years to see it.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So where was that change? Can you remember a time when that change? You felt that change where it was more love than obligation, or full love, full on love than obligation?
It was the day that my mother passed.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
We all had gathered at the house. We had got, they had already, um, they, called her death. So the family had gathered at the house.
Right.
And I looked and we were just rummaging through some stuff, because you know how black people do at a funeral. We were looking for stuff to take home, and I started seeing clippings and report cards and
Mm-hmm.
things that he kept, that he had stashed away
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing good. And it was one of those proud moments for him. And I asked him, I said, why do you still have this? And he said, because that was one of my best memories. That was one of my best things about you. You weren't always a bad kid. We had a conversation about it. And he was like, you wasn't always a bad kid. There's just certain things that I care. And so in that moment, I knew that it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't out of obligation. That he did. He
Mhm.
really did. Even though he was my step, he stepped up.
Yeah.
But even though he was my step, I knew at that point that everything he did since the day he met me was out of love, not obligation.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and the reason why this is such a great topic for today, and I feel like this is the origin of what our podcast is about, ladies and gentlemen. It's more, so you can take this and run with it. You can take this and show your kids that they're not an obligation. There is it's supposed to be a love and passion thing. Like Miss Little, I kid you not. I see Terry and his kids and his wife, how they are with their kids, and I see the love. I see a lot more love than obligation. Of course, we don't ever see what's behind closed doors. Kind of like what Q would probably see with my mom when I was young. But and like I said, I've had it out. My brother. Now that was the guy that raised me to be the man that I am, and he did it purely out of love. Everything that he bought and did for me, coaching wise and everything, it was love. Like I feel
Mhm.
that, and still to this day, I'll message him, "Hey man, I love you, big guy," and he, "Hey, love you too," and we'll do that, you know, and I do that with my mom, but like I said, this is more of a parenting deal with me that I feel like y'all can see a little bit of my where this is coming from today. So and Q, glad to have you back. You get everything all right over there? You freeze on me?
You
So
delayed.
next time y'all see us on this show, I will have a totally. I won't be having these issues.
Yeah, he's delayed a little bit. It's okay though.
No, it's all good, man. But um,
I have a
like
$1,700
with
computer sitting right here. So
Nice. Yeah, it
that's
better
what's
work
up.
for that
That's
kind of
good, man. Make sure that joint work for that price.
yeah, it
But
better.
as kids, me and Q actually played basketball together.
Mm.
And we hooped when we were in elementary together. And
basketball and
Q,
football
I
and
saw,
playing baseball against each other.
yeah, and football, yeah, exactly. I forgot all about baseball too.
Yeah.
But and you can see back then the difference. Here's the difference between back then and now, because back then, you would see parenting as a different role, and what I mean by that is you would see parenting as far as how kids are disciplined, and their parents back then would talk at kids. Nowadays, you want to talk to your kids.
Right.
You don't just talk at them. So and it's just like I
So
do with my.
can
I
I?
have conversations with my kids. Go for it, Q.
So here's the thing. I understand how there's a difference, but like as I got older, I appreciate it every time because the hardships I ran into and as an adult, and the fact that I knew that there are consequences out there, so ain't no sense of taking these chances. And then so it dawned on me like every time I used to have to go out there and cut a switch off,
Mm.
that it sense be preparing me for
Right.
the world that I was going to be coming into. So I just wanted to end off with that. I know some people say they are
So
traumatized by the childhood that they've been, but my childhood molded me man that I am today as a responsible adult to take business. I'm not out here lost in the
mhm.
woods.
I
Hmm.
mean, and I could say that for all four of us. I mean, look at the men that we are today.
Right.
But at the same time, and it's something you just got to be truthful with yourself. A lot of the times, I feel like we as adults now, looking back at our childhood memories, we're not truthful with ourselves. Like I tell people all the time, I tell my family all the time, my dad was never there. My mom was, but it was more of an obligation, hence the title today. And but I'm very thankful for how I was raised. Very, very thankful. So that's just the truth and the end to all of that. So to E, we're gonna go off to our next topic right now. E, what you got for me, bro?
So the topic that I wanted to talk to, and this
Let me
is
transition.
oh,
Don't.
so the topic that I wanted to talk about, um, and still on the subject of parenting, is are we allowing our children to grow up too fast?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Right.
Yeah.
So the
Mhm.
thing, okay, so here's my thing, and a lot of parents, I know I'm gonna catch a lot of flack about this, but allowing your child to have say, allowing your child to make important decisions, allowing your child to dictate uh, what it is that he or she can and cannot do.
Mhm.
That has always been a struggle for me. I know one person in particular, a couple of people in particular, that when I look at their children, especially on social media now,
Mhm.
or when I see them face to face, I'm like, damn, you gonna let her talk to you like that?
Whew.
Or you gonna let her or him talk to you like that or do that?
Yeah, because I'm gonna
Right.
need some of this today.
And it bothers me because what we was just talking about is how our parents raised us
Yeah, man.
Right.
and how we as parents raise our children.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, we want to be that ear,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day,
I'm your damn parent.
I am your goddamn parent.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
See, that's the that it right there. I am your parent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You're not gonna play with me. You're not gonna talk to me like a dude on the street or a sister in the street, a girl in the street, your home girl, your homeboy, your home, whatever. I am your parent. Understand that. But see, that's when parents come in.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And the burning question that I have for some of these parents, and I just sit back. I'm guys, understand one thing about me. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna look at you.
Antoine. Shout out to
I'm gonna
Antoine.
sit back and I'm gonna look, and I may comment when I get home, but I, I just want to know, like, are we allowing our children to grow up too fast? At one point in particular, it's like I didn't even. It was like a blur. Like I saw her as a baby, and now she's big grown
Yeah.
adult. Like god damn, and you give her decisions to make in the house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, are you working? You
Mhm.
pulling in a check?
What's up,
Good
Ben?
afternoon, Ben.
Mr.
In the
Ben, how you doing,
house.
sir? Yo, so guys, I just want to know, like,
No,
what are your thoughts behind it? Because me personally,
Ooh, ooh,
my
teacher,
fashion, I don't like to
No,
say
I'm
names. I
no,
don't
no,
I don't like
teacher,
to say
teacher,
name.
teacher.
no, no. I'm
So
first. It's
yeah,
my show. No, no, no.
take
I'm
take
first.
it
No,
take it
no,
away,
Okay.
you
Ben.
didn't.
Okay.
Oh,
Check this
now
out.
it's his
No, no,
show.
no, no, no,
Now it's
no.
his show.
Here you go. This is me. Okay. I'm gonna be real quick. This is me. The moment any one of my children decide they want to do something crazy,
Oh, don't be like that. If I had a rock, I'll bust your head, bitch. Say what you
listen
dare, you
to
know.
me. Here's the deal. So, when to answer your question in short, and Melissa answered it in the beginning of when we first started this topic, and she said, "Absolute freaking lutely." That's after there's so much truth and facts to that. And Ben just
Mhm.
said our kids are growing up. They grow up too fast with or
With
without.
or without us, by the way, I like to
There
add.
is so many different the determining factors. You got peer pressure. You have social media. You have whatever you got. It's really weird to me. I mean, we're going through that. Melissa and I are going through that right now with Zariah, and she feels like she can interject in adult conversations. I remember when I was little, I could. I'm telling you, I could, babe. You're right about that.
But
What's
go
up?
ahead. No, I was saying like, and I hear that like there's outside influences,
Yeah.
in the ear. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But here's my issue. Here's my issue. Whereas the parents play where the parents are like,
Too loose.
thank you.
I get where you're going.
That's
Oh,
that's the
oh,
word. That's the word
oh,
right there. It's
oh,
like
oh. Hold
the
up.
the
I
the
got you.
parents allow it. You see what I'm saying? And okay, so we all right. I'm gonna give you a perfect one because this
Yeah, give me
happened
one.
right up the
Yeah.
street from me. At a neighbor's house. She got so many kids.
Giving us
And
directions and coordinations.
right. The neighbor up the street got a lot of kids, and one of the kids was
Jesus,
cussing up a storm
Father. Yeah.
and playing like motherfucker, god damn it, and coming freely.
Right.
The mother or whoever this parent figure was standing in the door. Now I don't know if he went in the house and caught it later, but at that time, she's smiling and thought it was cute right there.
Mm-hmm.
When
Me
you
too,
think
man.
it's cute, and then you wait until they get to like 16 and 17 and 18 and start cussing your ass out,
Mm,
then it's not cute no more.
Right.
So
Mm,
when you trying to nip it in the bud, then at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's cute, but then the cute phase draw out. Now they're at 16, 17, 18, and they're cussing.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Whereas you supposed to nip that in the bud when you heard it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Mm,
That's my problem.
yeah. And here's I'll take that one a little bit further. Um, when I say loose, I not only mean that as an example, I mean loose as an example as far as not outside, so like Terry said, like the social media, because that's a huge impact on kids today with that pressure from social media.
Right.
right.
But the fact that we have kids that could tell their parents what to do, like I have, all right, so and I got a friend, and whenever this kid tries to around me, I don't allow it. None of my kids will ever tell me what to do, not until they are paying bills and I'm under their roof. And my kids know. Yeah, no, and my kids, they don't, they'll with the freak, they're 17, 16. All right, cool. We but when it comes to me, smashing down on that ass, they know I'm that guy. So, but when it comes to people telling their kids, I mean, telling their mom and dad what to do, like, mother, did you pay this month's rent, this month's mortgage, this month's water bill or utility? Did you even pay the cell phone bill? When you can
Excuse me.
tell your parent, go get me my phone,
Mm.
That's
or
wild.
Or just take the phone.
oh no, to shut the hell up, I will put my kid in a coma. And that's a trigger for me, to be
Be
honest.
like, it's a shame what
I hate
Kev
it.
just did to that child.
I hate it, but I promise you, though, and there was one time, even my wife, checked him at one point. He's like, "Hey, the fuck you talking? No, we don't do that. We don't, no, we don't." And my wife has a look. She has a very distinct look.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that look your parents used to give you when you
Mm-hmm.
fuck up? That
Mm-hmm.
when her eyes get big, and she started to tell him, "Hey, we don't know. That's a huge no." And he checks himself right there on the spot when she does it. But when I do it, oh, I don't even say no. I just look at him. And it
So
goes for, and there's a few others like that. Like, I'm like, no, this is where they're like this. That goes with perfect with this topic right now. That, are we letting kids grow too fast? Because now they're being grown ups at this time. They feel like in their head they can do and feel like they want to. But motherfucker, you want to be grown up? You want to do that? Go pay a
just
bill.
I just want to reiterate the word growing up too fast, or that phrase growing up too fast. I'm not talking about physical, like
Mentally.
Mentally, yeah.
mentally. I'm talking about attitude.
Okay.
I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about personality. Um Allowing your children, and you got some you got some parents out there. I let him decide for his own. No, I'm sorry. Give them a little bit of, give them some freedom. First of all, just a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, man. Because if you give
Just a
them too
little.
much,
Look
they
look
gonna.
at no no
Right.
no no. Look at my hand. Look at my two fingers. Give
Let's do
them a
this.
little bit of freedom.
Let's do this.
But like Kev just said, did you pay the days light bill? Did you pay the rent, the mortgage?
Like,
Bitch, did you pay the cell phone bill?
So,
look,
That's what I'm talking about. That phrase, growing up too fast. I'm not talking
yeah,
about the physical sense. Like kids going to grow.
like
yeah.
Q knows how we were raised in the South. It's a thing in the South, and it's not a closed minded type of being raised. It's more of a respectful way of being raised.
Mhm.
Where you're supposed to respect your elders. Your neighbor hears you do something. Guess what? Your neighbor's allowed to check you
They're going to
still.
whip your ass.
Yeah. So and Q can speak to that because I remember on our basketball team, one of our boys got out of hand, and the parent checked him. One of our parents, CJ's mom, checked a kid on our team. Like, you don't do that. No, we don't do that here. And I love CJ's mom to death, man. But she would check us in a heartbeat. Oh, let's not act like CJ mom won't if she needed to.
Let's go back for a minute because we've missed a lot of points, and I want to get back to those. The one we were talking about the cussing. When you hear kids cuss, and
Mhm.
they're 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and you hear them cuss,
Mhm.
the kids are in that moment. The kids are only emulating what they see, or what
Right.
they hear. So
Right.
if we have to be mindful of what we do around our kids. Melissa and
So
I go
hold on,
through
oh,
this.
wait. So let's hit that right quick because I got a loose cannon of a mouth. I
Right.
Oh yeah,
cuss.
I know.
I cuss.
Yeah, Facebook
But
tells us every
it's
day.
more do as I say, not do as I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's my rule. You feel me? So it's do as I say, not do as I don't do as I do.
Oh,
Because
Kev,
I
you my
want
boy,
you.
but I disagree with that. I disagree with
So
that.
and here, all right. So here's the reason, right?
Okay,
So I want you to be better than me. So when
right,
I tell you go be great, go fucking be great, go be better than me, be a better person. I want you to be a better parent than me. I want you to be a better adult than me. I want you to do everything way to a point to a level that I couldn't do it.
right.
So don't do as I say. Don't follow me. Be better than me.
Okay,
Because if you're following me, you're not gonna max out your potential trying to be like me.
but see, okay, so here is, and this is the reason why I disagree. And then Melissa's two great minds because she's downstairs writing in the comments, and I'm up here doing what you guys, and she's writing in the comments exactly what I'm thinking. Let me put it up just in case you'll see it. Let's see. She said, that's a bad point of view. Can't agree with that. When you said do as I say, not as I do, uh, we cannot, we cannot have that mentality because, like in her next comment, and she said, "You are our children. We are our children's biggest teacher." You
Right.
tell your child this take this out for a second. You tell your child and say, "Go be great." What example does that child have to be great?
To be better than me?
Okay, but what's his example though? So
Me.
if his example is
But
his
but
example
but
is
you
not
if we're gonna
opposite of
use
what is
me,
going on with you,
if I'm telling my kid go be great, go be better than me.
mm,
Let's just say I'm the word good. I
right?
don't want you to be good. I want you to be better. What's better than good? Go be great. So don't just sit there. Yeah, use me as an example, but go and be better than the man I was because
Right.
at that point I feel like I'm gonna hold you're holding yourself back with your potential in life.
Right. But Kev, I'm asking. Here's what I'm asking you. How though? If
How?
you're saying you're
There's
saying to your
many
kid,
examples.
go
That's
be
that's
great.
more of an open that's
How?
more of an open door. All right.
Okay.
That's when your parenting skills are to kick in and you go from whatever point that you want them to be better, whether it's a work ethic, whether it's a straight just attitude in general, being just being a better man or a better role model for their kids in the future.
You remember when I
There's
said
many ways of that.
you remember what I said a little while ago? Was the first thing I said? You can't. Uh, we have that mentality. Of don't do as I do. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Right. That's your train of thought. Right. But the first thing I said was kids emulate what they see. So if you have the attitude of do as I do don't do as I do as I say do as I say. If you're not moving in the right direction, if you're not moving, all they see is dysfunction. That's what they're going to do. They don't know how to go be great. They hear you say go be great, but they
That's
don't know
why.
how.
But you got to be that person. You got to be in that ear. Like, go ahead, E.
So,
You go ahead.
okay, question: are we still talking about the cussing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
we're still in that
pretty much.
area.
So, I was always brought up where stay out of grown folks' business.
Exactly.
Right.
When grown folks are at the dinner table, you should not be anywhere around that vicinity.
Ooh, nope.
So that's what I'm saying. So here's my thing with the cussing aspect. And I hear what you saying, Terry, and I hear what you saying, Kev. But to enforce that, stay away from grown folks' conversations.
Okay.
You see what
Now
I'm
you're setting
saying?
boundaries. Now that
There
makes
was
sense.
there was two places for me and my sister to go when there was company over. And I still remember this. Our room or in the basement. Two places.
Nipping it in the bud.
Nip it in the bud. That's what I'm saying. Nip it in the
Mhm.
bud. 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you allow, the key word here is allow, that your son or your daughter to hang around, even if you implement it, say, hey, when company come over, I don't want to see y'all.
Yeah.
You ate dinner
I
early.
remember that as a kid.
You got your water early. You got your juice early. You got your
Ate.
snacks early. You
Yeah.
take all of that shit. You can match up and take your ass upstairs. I don't want to see you around this damn table. That's nipping into the bud.
Look, come over
But
here.
if you say it and you still do it and they still around that damn table, something didn't click. Something didn't
And you
register.
have to check it right there.
So you got to
Mhm.
check it. I'm a
Yeah.
firm believer in checking it once.
Yeah.
Once I say it one time, I'm very deep on breath. I take breath very seriously. When I start talking and I feel as though that I said it more than one time, I get very upset. So
Mm.
if I got to say it again, there's a disconnect. You see what I'm saying? Stay out of grown folks' business.
Mm.
When you hear grown folks talking, stay the hell clear
Right.
because that's how habits pick up. But that's good parenting. Bad parenting will
Mhm.
let their child stand there and hear that shit. And then when they try to enforce it, or when they hear the kids start cussing and smoking and doing whatever, and then try to discipline that, it's too late.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
too
Too far
late.
in the
So
game.
that's what
Yeah.
I mean by, you know, the disconnect. Know when to nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
I,
You know.
that I don't know what Melissa was saying on that one. The whole
Oh, I'll
sexual
tell
thing.
you. I'll tell you.
That's
I'll tell you
that's
exactly what she's saying.
very that's a different
Yeah.
swing.
She's yeah. My honey. We've gone through a lot, and so what we did coming up is not what goes on, now, or it should not even go now. But sexual abuse, because throwing when E said, you know, throwing all the kids in one room, or you guys go into your room or the basement or whatever because grown folks are in conversations. I think that's where she's talking about sexual abuse, and it can't happen. 3 minutes, that's solid. Right, babe. Life is very, very different, and it can get tricky. But we're talking about um, setting boundaries, telling our kids, okay, you can't, don't be around this. This is where we're having a grown folk conversation, whatever. So I see where she's going, right? So if you aren't having any combo
I'm glad you
around,
do.
and there's no issues,
You
everyone's
see it.
coming and going in good
I
company.
don't see
I
it.
Okay,
just seeing what
okay,
happens.
okay,
There's
okay.
that's a
Let me
different
let me
angle.
let me let
That's
me let me let
that's a
me
whole
let
different
me
thing.
let me shed some light on
Quinn,
that.
Quinn hasn't said.
Q, go
Go
Okay.
ahead, Q.
ahead, Quinn, because he hasn't said anything more.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let E go, and then I'm gonna give my thought out.
Go ahead,
I
E.
just think that in conversation general, as a we looking at kids and we looking at adults.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation is going to be a little bit different, however you look at it. I just feel as I remember, I'm 49 years old. I'm old school. You see what I'm saying? That's all I have. That's all I got is the practices and the things that my parents taught me, or what I've been told by older people that influenced me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, as far as the room aspect, that's all we had in the house.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
the
Either
corner.
go play,
Yeah.
go play in a different part of the house or something. I'm not saying, you know, like throw them in a room, but I mean, to
That was
narrow it
literally
down.
that was almost an unwritten rule growing up.
Unwritten, yeah. It was.
That's
When
what
I
I'm
was
saying.
doing
It's like
you get
go
it.
play,
Yeah.
go play.
That's why I get it. I get
You see what I'm saying? When you see grown folks in a huddle and talking, and you know, conversations between adult and child is two different things. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What possibly a child can relate to an adult conversation?
Right. None.
You see what I'm saying? So if you don't want your child to hear bad words, that's generally going to get spoken in a general adult conversation.
Yeah.
That's leave.
Mm-hmm.
But when that child hear your adult conversation and you start repeating some of that stuff, of course you're going to get mad. So to differentiate some of that, you go over there, you play, and let us have our adult time.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
Go ahead, Quinn. I'm gonna ask this question. Go ahead.
So, for me, and I saw this with my own eyes. So, let me just throw this out there first. I'm a grown man in my own house. My mom came to visit, and I was on the phone talking with my homeboy. And you know what I'm saying, I left the door unlocked, but I was talking to my homeboy, and I'm in the house, and I'm cussing and everything. The door and say, "What you say?" Yeah, I'm gonna holler at y'all. I am 37 years old and still don't cuss around my mama. Now, my uncles,
I never did that.
my uncle, my stepdad, all of them, you a grown ass man. Say what you gonna say. But my mom, my aunts, and all of them, I don't cuss around them. And it's just a respect thing. And that's the thing I feel like that children are not set to have nowadays. They don't learn respect for their elders. Because the first time a child get out of line with me, if I have a son and he rough up to me, he gotta go.
Yo, just what Quinn said. I still 49 years old. I still don't cuss around my sister, my brothers. Still, to this day, 49.
And those are brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
These are brothers and sisters. I still don't cuss around them. They can cuss around me all day, every day, and they do. But as far as talking to them and using it, fuck that.
No.
It's not that.
But like,
I don't. It's not like. It's a respect thing.
Yeah.
It's a respect thing. 49.
Yeah.
Now I curse like a sailor, as y'all can hear.
You
know. But to cuss around them, I will feel some type of way. And if my mom and dad was alive, I would not cuss around them because my mom didn't curse. My father damn sure didn't curse.
No.
You see what I'm saying? It's a respect.
With my uncles and my stepdad, it was just like this. I was probably like 16, 17 years old. And I had got into a fight. And you know, I'm fighting, but they was around and they hear me curse, like, and I'm still mad, and they didn't pull me off, and I'm still cursing. I was like, my bad, y'all. My uncle and my stepdad told me just like this: you are a man now. When you're around, if you don't want to cuss around your mom and them, that's fine. But hell, we talk to you about stuff. You talk to us about stuff. Be yourself. You're a grown ass man now. You pay bills.
It's a mutual feeling at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the
And the
same
way
way.
you just whoop that boy's ass, you probably can whoop our ass. So you might as well say what's on your chest.
I'm with E. If my mother was still alive, I'd never cuss for my mom. And, and my stepdad, nor my stepdad, because it was just out of respect. It was one of those things. Now, my grandma now, and my grandma, we cussing together, me and her. And we having a good time.
Right. And
We,
but
we
that's a mutual respect.
that's a mutual respect thing.
That's a
We,
mutual
we
respect. But still, I don't care. I don't care how mad or upset I am.
never.
I'm still not cussing in front of them,
Yeah.
and they know it.
Okay, how mad I get.
So going back to the whole topic of how are we letting our kids? Personal opinion, I think we are as a society overall. And just to
Yeah.
go back with Terry touched on it. Social media outlets is a huge benefactor. I mean, there's a huge factor of that.
Yeah.
If we were to put it
I don't
in
want
a
to blame
circle graph,
social media.
no, it's
I want to
not. I'm
blame
not saying
social
that's
media
solely.
because it still brings back to the home. Because
Yeah,
this is
Right.
what I
It do go back to
this
home.
is this
but
is this is what I say. People used to always try to, and this comes from these groups that want some reason not to take responsibility for the actions
No.
of their children. They want to
Right.
blame media. They want to blame
Yeah.
video games. They want to blame
Anybody
social.
else but
Like my
themselves.
thing is anybody but themselves. When I fucked up, I got my ass whooped. Now it's a stage in life where a lot of people feel like they were traumatized by getting whoopings, so
oh
therefore
yeah,
they're not
yeah.
going to discipline their children because that's just inflicting trauma. Just talk to your kids. Here's the thing: you can talk to your blue in the face. If you don't see any change in the activity or the behavior, it's time to beat that ass.
Mm-hmm.
I have no patience for adults, so that damn sure means I have no patience for children.
Right. Well,
And by all means, I mean you're absolutely right. But I'm not saying that's solely the blame for it.
yeah.
That's a
It's one of the
factor. If
determinant
we were to
factors.
put it in a circle graph, like I was getting to,
Yeah.
that's a fraction of. I would say that's probably 40%, and I think
Mhm.
that's the study that was done on it
Mhm.
of what's the reasoning for our kids, how they're growing up nowadays, because they're always on the
Then
phone. What
then
are they
set
on
up
their
an
phone
environment
for? They ain't talking
where
on the
they can't
phone.
have. Set up an environment.
Yeah, so
Get what you
they,
can do while they're on their phone. Get
yeah,
what you can do.
All
You
right.
can lock their phone down where they don't have social media.
you can, yes, and
Yeah.
I agree. But how many parents are doing that? Is the question.
Yeah.
Hardly
That's
any.
the problem. That comes with the responsibility. Then you're gonna
That's
have you got all these avenues of being a responsible parent. It's up to you to take those avenues if you want to protect out from certain things.
Right.
and we're not saying you're wrong, Q. I'm
No,
nowhere
no,
near saying you're wrong
no, no.
because that can go. I mean, we can go on and on for days, but
We can do this in a whole
yeah,
series.
but that's
We
the
really
whole.
could.
But like we're saying though, as a
Well,
parent,
hold on, I'm gonna say it.
Information,
If
man. So
talking
yeah, go
and
ahead.
whooping ain't working, then it's time to put them in the dirt or send
Quinn,
them off
this
to
man
middle
trying to kill
Quinn,
their own kids.
Quinn.
Don't you
No,
have
no,
kids,
sir.
man? Don't make
No,
me
no.
an
We're
uncle
not
then.
gonna do
Don't
that.
don't don't
No.
do that. Don't make me an uncle then. No, you just
That was a joke,
you shoot
y'all.
No.
blanks.
Y'all know that was a joke. Come on, man.
Who
Y'all know that was a
this
joke.
man?
Who this man off the stage? Where's the hook? What's on, brother? Appreciate you,
What's
man.
up, man?
But for
Yeah,
real
that's
Hey,
though,
that.
if talking and whoopings aren't working, then you need to find another avenue, and then they may need to go to reform school or something because or they may need to see some type of psychological help because if for some reason, no matter what you're
yeah,
doing, there's always an avenue to solve the problem.
Right.
yeah.
There, yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
here's the question. Here's the question. As parents, if we are faced with what Quinn's talking about, we got a child who is maybe has a conduct disorder or maybe has an issue or whatever. Um, how do we or do we give as parents? Do we give up on them? Do we say, you know what, I'm done. I can't.
Well, okay. I have no patience whatsoever. None.
Right.
I tried 2 years ago, didn't work.
Right.
My thing is this, and I go back to say, because I'm a person like this. I told you so. The whole nip it in the bud. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Got the
I'm
nip.
that person. I'm that petty during that time. But if all else fails and nothing else works, then we got to bring some other people involved. I'm sorry. Because you will not constantly keep doing all of this to me where I have tried and tried. I won't give up on you. I will bring in other people who can probably solve the situation
I absolutely
without
agree with you.
me
We can
seriously
compare,
hurting you,
Yeah.
just stretching your ass out on this goddamn floor. And that's my patience talking. I
Yeah.
have no patience.
You
The
can't beat
two
the children,
pieces,
man.
the two piece
You know
with a
what?
biscuit and some side of
And see,
Kool-Aid
this
is
is
right here in
me and
front of
E
you.
beer right here, right
You
here.
can't do
Me and
that,
E
man.
right here. E
Look,
see
I'm,
me.
I'm
I'm
with
sorry, but
E.
no,
I'm
you
sorry.
asked the question.
Yeah,
Hold,
you
hold.
asked.
Hold, real brief, final thought.
Yeah.
You asked the question.
I
I
did.
gave you my
Yeah,
answers. You see what I'm
I'm right here.
saying?
I gotta
And
be
I'm right
most,
here
careful
and
with
with
you
like I
y'all.
though.
said, if you don't always follow, do as I say.
They don't.
Here's
Right.
my thing. Here's my thing. I tried.
Yeah.
I seriously, honestly tried.
Yeah.
But now my
I'm
petty
right
is
there.
like, remember nipping in the bud? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Y'all ain't do that.
Man, we could do another show
I'm
on
I'm
this.
I'm 100% there right there with E. If you want my final thought, E, I couldn't have said it any better. And
Listen.
as an example, look, I promise you, my son Matthew, I did it with him. I gave my daughter, I gave her my rough, and I talked to them. I've never Google Gaga or baby talk any of my kids since they were 2. I'm gonna
I
talk to
straight
you,
talk to
and
them.
if I don't talk to
What's up, brother
you,
Mike?
what's up, Mike? If I don't talk to you, if you don't get what I'm
Hey,
saying,
Mike, what's up?
eventually at one point you will. It's gonna make sense to you. It's gonna come up, and my kids are prime examples of it. Because my son Matthew
What's up,
was
Raymond?
having a rough time a couple of years ago, and whoopings ain't gonna happen. I won't work again, so we had to go another route. And then we went another route until he kept getting in. He got in trouble, got suspended from school. Boom! I pulled the E. Remember what I told you?
Remember what I
Do
told you?
you remember that I said this was gonna happen? And then when I tell him the consequence. There's a good consequence, bad consequence, real quick. And I tell him good consequence is gonna happen to you when you do something great and you do something
Right.
good. You get
Right.
rewarded in life.
Right.
It really happens.
Right.
Bad shit will happen to you when cops and shit get involved. You know
Right.
you're going to jail. And I gave him that warning. Look, I just told him recently too. You're 16 years old. You got 2 years to figure it out. I'm not gonna bail you out every single time. You better figure that shit out.
And see what and that's border and that right there is borderline parenting out of fear. And I think that's wrong. But like I said, we can talk about parenting.
Right.
We can do that in like a 6-week series.
Series, yeah.
So
This
everything.
week on
Raymond
Knucklehead
said, here,
Chronicles.
Raymond says,
Season.
Raymond Tacular forever on YouTube. Oh, nice, man. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We share the broadcast out. Let me see. Let me pull up his comment because I want to see that before we go.
Yeah, I
We've
got it.
got a few minutes of
17-year-old.
leeway.
Yeah.
Ben hadn't said shut the doors yet, so it's all good.
Yeah.
And he said, I am here listening. I am having few issues with my 17 and soon to be 18-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what? Raymond, go ahead and pop them questions in there, man. We got a few minutes. We ain't gonna want to go. Parenting is
Male or
it's not
female,
there's
Mr.
no
Raymond?
manual. There's no book to it, right?
It's not. It's not.
So here's
you
my
had to do.
thing with the 17-year-old. If it's
Ain't
a
grown,
guy,
Raymond.
go ahead, square up, bro. Let me see
No,
what you got.
don't listen to
Can't do
Q,
that,
man.
Cleveland.
Don't listen.
All right,
No,
I have a
see,
17-year-old. I have a 17-year-old. My son Dion.
Square up.
No,
Because I
you don't
promise
square
y'all,
up.
bro.
No.
At 17, you finna.
This ain't
at
the 90s, my
17,
bro.
Hey, bro, come
This
on
ain't the
now,
90s.
dog.
No, you can't do that,
Come
man.
on,
I
man.
can't
You
do
go.
that.
I look. All right, look. I have a 17-year-old. Girl or boy, it doesn't matter because I got a 16-year-old that's about to be 17-year-old too.
Right.
Girl. And with girls are different from boys. They go through a longer issue with emotional, issues and whatnot. You talk to them. The thing is, if you're not being that example and explaining that example, it's going to be rough for them. But they got to know, 17 years old, you're knocking where anything that happens police is going to be knocking for them, not for you, for them, because they're reliable for their own actions. Therefore, that
You
point
can
going
either
forward.
square with me or square up in the big
Wait,
house.
no,
Which one
no.
you
But
18,
want?
man.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. What if they do square up to you?
Oh, we're free game.
Exactly.
Oh.
What if they smelling
Can I
themselves?
bring my son in here? Can I bring my son Matthew in here when he tried to square up with me? Can I bring my
These
son
hands,
Matthew?
these
Like,
hands
I
got,
put fear in his
got
life.
years on them. They got a whole years.
You can't. Yo,
They
look.
got a
I
whole
hear
lot
what
of
all of y'all.
experience in them.
I hear what all of y'all are saying, but never underestimate the child.
No.
You see what I'm saying? With
Hey,
all of this
tell me you would put
influence,
hands on them if they did that.
huh?
Tell me what you would do if they squared up with you.
Not only, and the thing of it is, it's not only if they square up with you, if they square up and whoop your ass. That's two different things. It's like,
Well, we just square up. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
come and catch these hands, bro.
I'm just saying. You catching more than
bro.
hands. Look.
Exactly right, Raymond.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
both
you
have to be.
gotta catch
You
it.
have to be on the
Right.
same.
But
Because
you never.
if you're not on the same level with your kid, you're going to
Right.
create friction with your own spouse.
my
Period.
child is 20 years old right now. I could count on my hand how many times I had to beat my child.
Like throw
You see what I'm
hands.
saying? Huh?
Like throw hands.
No,
Or just-
like I never threw. No, that last whipping, I threw hands. I punched him in the chest. I was like straight. It hurt in my hand. I got his ass in the corner because I don't play disrespect.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
When you disrespect me and mine's,
Yeah.
don't disrespect
That'd be a
Look,
problem.
this
Yeah,
was
yeah.
E. He
nobody.
was hopping.
I didn't. Yo, I swear to God, like the
He
first
went
time
into
he had
Muhammad Ali
stole,
mode, didn't he?
right? He had stole some money, and
Oh,
the money
okay.
popping out while I was whipping his ass.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
This
Oh,
man
wow.
beat the change out of.
He
Right.
was
I beat
Mario
I beat
cornering his ass. He was
I
eating
beat
his
the
ass
dollars
like
out of his
Sonic.
pockets.
The nigga pulled a
And-
Sonic.
Holy shit.
No,
Really?
whoa. That was first time. Second time, beat his ass because he whipping it. He was acting up in school, and he ain't believe me. Me and his mother whipped his ass. We tag teamed
Oh no.
his ass. I threw my son across a couch
Holy shit.
because this nigga thought that we going through right now. Yeah. Me and his mama tag teamed that ass because he thought that ditching school, going over this little white boy house, listening to the white boy and going over to his house, we wasn't going to find out. We was literally tag me in, bitch. We was that. So then the last whipping I gave him, he disrespected Linnea.
Did he say tag me in, bitch? Okay.
He disrespected Linnea, and I caught the worst thing you could do in the fight is not to back your own self in a motherfucking corner.
Don't do that.
I ain't lying.
Oh my God.
I ain't lying.
And I'm not even doing nothing at this point. I'm talking to him like this, and he backed up in the corner, and I said, bop, 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 bop. And he just fell to the ground. I didn't kick him. I wanted to, but I was just banging him in his chest. And I said, as long as you breathe and live in this goddamn house, you will not disrespect anybody in this goddamn house who is helping you. Never had no problem since.
Look,
bad.
I'm with
Every
E on
time you
that
see
because
it-
I did the same thing with all right. So my son thought he can, because he got suspended from school. Thought he can, blah 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 at the mouth to his mom, and had the audacity to come at me. So he was by the front door. At this time, we was living at the other house. It was 2 years ago. And he thought, just because he had a little hair right here, maybe grew a little hair on his balls, going through puberty, he can, and his voice got a little more bass in it. He thought he could, spew at the mouth. Well, I quickly checked that because as soon as I saw him say something to his mom, the fear, I swear to God, y'all ever seen on Scooby-Doo where the ghost or your soul leaves? When he looked at me walking fast to him, he froze.
Yo.
Just let me say this before we say anything. Let me say this first. I don't know if Ben's still here. but the views being expressed right
No, and of course you
now
exactly. But
are
man,
those are those not of BSB Network and their executives and partners. But those are the partners of Knucklehead Chronicles podcast.
Listen,
So,
y'all.
just
I
No,
so
can't
you
listen,
guys-
Look.
no. Hear me out. Hear me out.
But
Hear me out.
this is at the point of stage where they square up with you
Right.
when they decide to be like E said, when they decide to get to that, when they take it to that level,
Right.
you have to find a way. If that was my way of checking them, and
You got to
since
bring them
then,
back down to
just
reality.
like E, I ain't never had a problem since because one punch. I shouldn't have done that. That one hurt again, y'all. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
Lil.
That one hurt again because y'all know what happened when over the
Right.
weekend.
Right.
But hey, it took one. It just took one. It just took one, and then I just hemmed him up,
And
I hemmed him up and put him
Enough
on
with the
his feet.
violence. Enough with the violence. Let's answer the question.
Just took one.
My 72, he said his 17-year-old
minute.
told him, this is Raymond Tackler on Forever on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you, sir, for your questions and comments. My 17-year-old, I told him I would give him $100 to help him with school shopping. Last Monday, he sent me the bill for his online order that cost $170. Remind you, I told him I gave him $100. So all he had to do was pay $70, the young man. He replied, either pay the bill. See, this is right here when kids get disrespectful. He said, either pay the bill or don't get a ticket to his graduation. I said, fine. I guess I saved myself $100. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. Hold up. Stop the press. Flag on the play. I hate to intercept.
It is what it is. That's what it is. That's what he
What?
said. That's what he said. 17 years old.
I got the
Not on his
solution.
own.
I got a solution.
Not sufficient.
If I need to nail you this bottle
here's
to
the thing.
bust his fucking head open,
Here's the thing. Here's the
send me
thing.
address.
To
Why
the
the
white
boys? Why the
To the
boys?
white meat.
Why the boys always do this shit? Oh, I got a little mustache. You know, my girl said, "You see my mustache
I
growing
ain't
in?
never
You see my
lied.
beard? You see my beard? I will smack that mustache and beard straight off of your fucking face."
The
I'm
violence
telling you,
in this.
I'm gonna pull a Donald. You remember when Donald Duck used to have his face upside down? I'm trying to rearrange your face like that. I'm
Bruh.
pulling
When he
I'm
spit his
telling
beak
you.
around and shit.
Man.
yeah.
When he gets smacked, they just.
I will.
Yes.
I will.
Anyway,
I will knock the teeth crooked in your mouth and then pay for the braces.
If
so
we
you
ain't
can
already
understand.
he has balls now. 'Cause I live
Like,
in
bro,
Virginia, he
like,
moved to Florida. Oh,
you're
so
not
that's the
finna
reason why he
talk
said,
to me.
"Oh, you're like,
That's where it's coming from. Now, let me also ask you real quick, Raymond. How does I don't know if you were with the mom, but
that's what
if
it
he's
is.
if he's over there in Florida, is his mom in his ear? Is she telling him what to say, or is she
Go-
telling him?
Go
Or
to Florida.
I'm just saying because at that time, it could be mom is saying something or
Influence.
disrespect. Yeah,
can I play
He's
devil's advocate real
17,
quick?
bro.
Go ahead.
Can I play devil's advocate real quick?
Go ahead.
Raymond, have you, because kids seem to react like that. Let's say if it's a parent, if you were an absent parent, if you was an absentee parent and you came into his life later on, and then you're trying to do and be the father that you need him to be, and he's still upset about that, then can definitely be a trigger for him and cause that trust.
so
I can understand.
look at his
that
comment.
too.
Look at the comment. Look at the comment right quick. He said we had words a couple of days later. I ended up hanging up on her. So that means that there's a disconnect.
Oh, that's some yeah.
So the
There's a
disconnect
disconnect
is
on the
where, because my
co-parenting.
mom, sorry, mama, but again, prime example. My mom tried to play me with my dad, even though my dad wasn't there, and I know the truth. But when you got somebody playing, the mom playing, that could be the issue here.
Ooh.
Go.
You about to pee in his pants. Go ahead.
Hey, is it the fact that he knows you live in Florida? I mean, live in Virginia, and he's in Florida, and knowing that you can't come and whip his ass?
I'm just saying. Look,
E,
I don't even tell you.
I got 2 words for you. I got 3 words for you. Hold up. I got 3 words for you. Frequent flyer miles.
Miles.
You want to borrow some of mine?
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
Or
you would
get
me.
let's
road trip on that ass.
Fellas, let's do a GoFundMe.
Get that
Get
man
a first class ticket Whoop his ass and
I'm
then he
on
can
it.
come back.
I'm on it now.
I'm,
I'm
I'm,
on
I'm
it
just saying.
now. We finna
I
raise
mean,
some money
so
for you, Raymond, to go whoop that ass.
so Raymond said he only missed 2 years of his life. But understand, see, Raymond, understand something, brother. I'm gonna be real with you, 100%, all the way live with you. 7 days, 2 days. If you're absent from a kid's life, man, it won't matter the time frame. If you stepped away for a little bit, that's the window, that's the door, that's the crack. That's all you need. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, it could very well if you're having strife with his mother
Right.
and there's
I'm
a
thinking
level of
that's exactly
disrespect
where it's
there,
from.
then that could,
Right.
it could come from that too, brother. So
Right.
there's a lot of there's so many different avenues that we can
You
go
should
down with this thing.
you should have
Yeah,
stayed, bruh. You should have stayed. I would have stayed in Florida for a little bit more. For real. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
These kids are not going to disrespect me.
Yeah.
I already said it. You're not going to disrespect me.
Catch his
See,
hand.
You can joke and play and all that with your homies, your friends, and all of that. But over here, you better recognize.
For sure.
and
You
see,
And please
better
don't let them be
recognize.
around and try
see,
to
hold
show
on.
your
But see, here's
ass.
here's the thing though. I've always had my foot down on my kid's neck,
Right.
even when me and their mom separated. Now, even though me and her were at odds, I always had a thing, and this is when she was living, of course. Um, I wouldn't badmouth her; she wouldn't badmouth me, and that
Mhm.
should be the same thing because
Right.
these kids, it's not their fault. They're not
It
at
really is.
fault.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not their reasoning as to why we're not together.
Right.
So when I moved here to San Antonio, I made sure I was on the same page. The same thing with my daughter Sophie. Look, hey, I'm with you on the parenting thing. We got to make sure we see eye to eye so we can make sure they're checked. These kids stay in check. They stay in line. And still to this day, they're in El Paso. I'm here in San Antonio. That's a 9.5 hour drive. Don't make me drive my ass over there. I'll burn some gas. I'll burn some rubber and go whoop your ass and come back home to a
Like
peaceful nap.
nothing ain't happen.
Like nothing with a peaceful nap. So I'm just saying, but then again, I was a prime example where my mom tried to play me against my dad. But I know the truth. I know the honest truth from what happened back
Right.
then. So don't, and I'm just saying that could be a trigger. And most of the time that is the issue. Because
Yeah.
a lot of mothers do that still. A lot of parents still
My
do that
believe it
against
or
the
not,
other.
believe
Right.
it or not, my mom tried to do that with my dad. I remember my mom telling me drain him dry for everything he got.
See what I'm saying? Yeah.
Get as much as you can out. And of course I'm little, I didn't understand that. I did not understand that. When my father passed,
Mm.
I am this first time I experienced death. One, and I am feeling all kind of emotions I don't know how to expect. I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared. The first thing my mother said to me when I could remember it like it was yesterday. I was coming home from the market with my mother. Phone was ringing. So of course you hear the phone ring, you run in the house and answer the phone. It's my uncle. He said, Ernest, it's your Uncle Milton. I said, hey, Uncle Milton, got some bad news. I said, what's wrong? Your father is gone. I said, gone where? He said, your father is gone. Your father died.
Mm.
And I still holding the phone frozen. My mom came in and I'm frozen, bawling. She takes the phone out of my hand. She talked to my uncle. They trying to make some type of arrangements. After she gets off the phone, I am still crying hysterically because by this time my father had moved back down to South Carolina to be around his family. My mother looked at me and said, did your father have any money put aside for did your father have a lump sum of money? So she is calling around to her friends, asking them, hey, did Ernest have lump sum of money coming? said, I don't believe this shit.
I know. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's different. That's
Right.
different right there.
I've look, I somewhat feel that because when it came to child support, which my dad never paid, my mom wanted that and some.
Mhm.
So I know that feeling too. So I know the money value. I know the backlash she's always has still
Yeah.
to this day. My mom will never admit it to herself, but my mom still has a lot of animosity, even though my dad's been dead for 13 years. 13. Not even here on this earth to defend himself, but I will. Because again, I know the truth. I
Mhm.
refuse to let someone do that with me. And I hope Raymond, going back to him, I hope he doesn't allow that to happen. Because the more that happens, the more we're gonna see of what's his name, 50 Cent and his son, or we see celebrities go through this. I just really hope on a real personal level that that's not happening. And if it is, nip that shit in the bud real quick. Because you're
Yeah.
only gonna grow distant
Yeah.
emotionally from your kid, or or vice versa. And it's just not a really good look. It's gonna take a lot of healing and a lot of talking to do with your son.
Yeah.
If you want my personal opinion, I wouldn't go down. I would go down there, and I would
Good job, boss.
right now I would make it I would make it something that needs to be done immediately to
Mhm.
go down there to Florida and you talk to your son, and it's got to be personal. If you don't put everything on the table right now, you're going to socially be disconnected, emotionally be disconnected from that point going forward. And
Mhm.
that's not even to include the physicality of being disconnected.
Right.
So if you don't do it all, if you don't get it now, if you don't put it all out there with that talk, it's got to be there. And it's got to be here because he's about to be grown. He's about to be grown. He's gonna feel like he's grown. He already is feeling like he's grown and can talk to you like that.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's gotta be done now.
Yeah.
Later on, it's gonna be harder.
It will be.
I
I'll
kid
tell
you
you what.
not, it's gonna be hard.
Well, you know what? This parent, like I said, we can with this parenting topic, we can go on for episode after episode. We really
Woo!
could. But this one, we're gonna go ahead and end it because we're about 23 minutes over. But like I said, Ben hasn't chopped my head off yet or sent me a message yet, so we good
Love
to
you,
go.
Ben. You my
So,
boy. You my boy, Blue.
but listen, I want to thank everybody that came in. Kevin did a great job hosting the show today. Really appreciate you, brother, for doing that. Because
It was a Wu Tang shirt, y'all.
the Wu Tang shirt, he got the Wu Tang power. I got you, brother. I got you. All right, so make sure you check us out. Continue to check us out on YouTube, BS3 Network on Roku. You follow us on Facebook, my personal page. I think it's on everybody's personal page here. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you. I hope you guys have a great
You're welcome, Raymond.
rest of your week, man. And we will see you in 2 weeks, right back here on the BS3 Network. Have a great one.